everybody, it's Mary Jo. Welcome back to my channel, Enchantress Tarot. I'm doing this video for the nodes shifting November 6th or 7th, depending on where you live, 2018 to May 5th, 2020. We are shifting into Cancer North Node, Capricorn South Node. Now we look at 2020. Visual acuity, right? Clarity. Well, we're hoping for all of humanity to have that wake up and seeing things as it truly is and not convoluted, right? Now, when we look at the North Node being in Cancer, so let's see what the North Node of the Moon is. That is your Dharma. That's like the compass needle, the magnetic north. That's what you're being pulled toward. And this is collectively. Everyone's North Node is in a different place. But for all of us as humanitarians, we're looking at the nodal shifting into Cancer. What does Cancer represent? Well, it's the 4th house. That is the house of your home, where you're loved, where you're nurtured and protected. It can represent the mother or whomever in your life represented the qualities of a mom or a mother that was loving, nurturing, protective. It is our inner strengths. It's our immediate past life and our early environment, our ancestral roots, okay? And that 4th house is very close to the bottom of the chart, the IC, so it's really an angle that's being hit as a cardinal sign. A cardinal sign is the signs that begin things, like you would say, well, Cancer brings in summer, right? It augurs in a new season, so it begins things. So that being said, with the North Node in Cancer, it is about us loving and nurturing ourselves. And it depends on what house it falls in for you, how it will be played out over the next 18 months. It's amazing that 18 months have passed since the last video I did about Leo and Aquarius and what have you elevated in your life and evolved through. Some of us might even be feeling the charging energy of the exit of our Leo Aquarius polarity right now, because as it comes to a close, the energy heightens. So many of us might be feeling a major shift or an impetus to get these evolved energies of whatever Leo and Aquarius meant in your chart done and over with, to move on. We don't want to repeat this again, right? The next time this happens. So now with Cancer, we want to look at, how am I going to love and nurture myself? We know Cancer is ruled by the moon. That's the divine feminine energy. The moon is a luminary, right? Even though it doesn't have light of its own, it reflects the light of the sun. But it is our emotions. It is our sensitivity. It's a watery sign. So we want to evolve those energies into a positive, loving way. You know, there's a shadow side to everything, but we want to work through it, and let's stick with the positives of Cancer. So if it's in your 1st house, that is yourself. That's what you're showing everyone. You know, it's like your front door. People come to your house and see your front door, how it's decorated. Oh, how nice, it's so-and-so's house. But what's behind that front door? That's your 1st house. It's that guarded mask, okay? It's that self we don't always show people. It's our inner self, how we feel, okay, with Cancer there. And our emotions. How are we going to be loving ourselves, our body, and protecting ourselves as who we are? How will we be speaking more sensitively? Or how will we openly express ourselves and love and nurture and protect ourselves? Okay? And in the 2nd house, it would be about your finances, your core value system, the things you take through life with you. So maybe you will be more caring and loving and nurturing toward your home, your finances, putting money away for a future, or even thinking about, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? How am I going to work through all of these aspects of the 2nd house? The way I let people love me, the way I love myself, what I value about myself and how I value myself, how I care for myself. Also love and relationships in a partnership too. Maybe you'll change your dynamic with the person if you are coupled already, and not always wanting to be in control of a situation and let your partner control their own emotions on their own and not really get involved in that, and just being a support for them without having to control the relationship. If it's in your third house of communications and commerce, writing, the way you're speaking, cousins, aunts, uncles, okay? You could be working through that dynamic as well, with the release of control being necessary, and maybe the way that you're speaking is more loving and nurturing about yourself and toward others, and how you let others speak to you and communicate to you also, where you say, I'm not going to allow this anymore, and I'm not going to start any trouble with the way I speak. I'm going to be more sensitive and in tune to these other people's feelings, because I'm going to think about how I want to be spoken to and treated. And it also could be about the way you're writing. Maybe you'll be doing a lot of releasing through writing aspects of any pain or suffering or feelings that you have. Or even if you like to write, maybe this is where you'll focus your energy into like helping other people through your writings. Fourth house we know is usually the home, and the structure of the home with your ancestral roots. And it could be, like I said, the mother or whomever is the person who had that aspect. Maybe you had been raised by a grandparent, a foster parent, adoptive parent, an older sibling. It doesn't matter. Whomever that was in your life, this is working through those feelings with them emotionally in a loving way. And even you as being a parent or a mother or someone who needs to love, nurture, and care for others, including yourself, the way you're loving and caring for your own body, releasing old stigmas that you have about your body so that you love, nurture, and care for it. With the fifth house, it would be about pleasures, okay? How you shine, how you are expressing yourself, what you're sharing with the world through your creativity, children, even a little traveling around. Maybe you'll be more free and open to these things. Maybe you won't be as guarded about your sexual expressiveness. Some people find expressing themselves sexually very difficult, or they're very rigid about things. There could be a loosening of that too, where you feel more pleasure and you allow more pleasure to come to you, not just only in sex, but through love, compassion, generosity, being received and given. Your sixth house would be your own health. Definitely the body, caring for the body, nurturing the body, being more gentle on yourself, more loving. You look at Cancer, right? It's got the hard shell of the crab, but inside it's soft and mushy, right? It's got those huge, huge eyes that kind of move everywhere. And even though that hard exterior has those claws, it kind of steps back and to the side before it goes forward in making a decision in its life. It's very broad. So maybe you'll be opening up yourself more to healing yourself, seeing things more softly and gently, because sixth house is also work, mundane things, daily routines, as well as your health. So maybe with that Cancer energy, you'll be less analytical of things and more going with the flow. And even in your own health regimen, maybe you will be more proactive in loving and caring and being open to other means of holistic healing or homeopathic healing, more modern technologies, as well as ancient medicines, Eastern, Western. And that your daily routine will be more focused on your own pleasures and happiness, in not being anxious about, nervous about the daily routine, taking the children to school, or having to take care of somebody in daycare, or if you have a relative who's sick, in and out of a nursing home. Whatever these things are that are daily routine for you, that maybe even are anxious, anxiety causing problems, you'll be getting a more of a control with that. Seventh house is your partnerships and relationships. So this is a time for we're working through releasing the need to be in control of and dominating in our relationships. We want to be sensitive and expressive with our partner, even sexually more receptive, because that is the moon, receptive and reflective, okay? So we want to be open to having a healthy, loving, balanced relationship with this other person in our life. And even if it's ourselves, our co-workers, our boss, our schoolmates, whoever it is, we have an open sensitivity to how they're feeling, how they need to be loved and nurtured, and also how you're allowing them to love and nurture you, that you'll make some changes with that, because it is a time for you to, in the forefront, it is about you right now, to take care of yourself and love and nurture yourself. Like I said, the crab has that tough, hard exterior, but it's all soft and gushy inside. So maybe we appear very rigid and hard and tough and strong, but we're really that sensitive person, and we want to allow that vulnerability to come through in our relationships. And it doesn't mean you're weak, Okay, like I said, don't mistake kindness for weakness, and don't mistake vulnerability for gullibility. There are times we need to be vulnerable, trust and open ourselves in relationships. Again, but not controlling someone's business, their company, their schooling, their education. It's about letting that go, being there as a loving voice for them, someone to come to for comfort without dominating that person's life or situation. Your 8th house, that's other people's money, inheritances, it's life, death, and rebirth, and it's also the house of sex and pleasure there, how it's expressed. So there could be a relaxation totally for you, where you're more open sexually. You know, maybe you have had paradigms and the belief systems that you were raised about sex, and you're going to be releasing that and letting that go. You're going to be more trusting in that. And it could also be about, like I said, other people's money. It could be inheritances, winning a lottery, something like that. Maybe you're more open and trusting toward that too, and that would be helpful in your life too, with your expenses, with changing your life forever. It is a very alchemical sign, you know, with the 8th house, because that's another water sign, and it could be very transitional for you, where you're going to the depths of yourself, the deep psyche, and you're looking at the things where maybe you didn't feel these loving, nurturing feelings, and you need to work through those and release those and head toward, okay, that was the past. It doesn't define who I am. It is part of my history, my story, but I'm not on that chapter anymore. I've moved on, and I'm gonna let go and let that die off and heal. Yes, I remember it, but I'm not gonna live in that frame of mind, and I'm gonna open up my psyche, my mind, my psychic abilities to allow in all this healing, spiritual healing and transformation for me. With your 9th house is your philosophy. It could be publications also. It is the higher mind. So maybe you'll be open to some changes in the way you always thought of something politically or religiously, or even just a way of life. And you find yourself open to a change, and you say, well, you know what, I used to be very rigid and I thought that way, but now I'm more sensitive and more open. I'm open to other people's thoughts and feelings. I'm sensitive toward other people's religions or religious views, or even their healing methods, things that they're writing on, topics like that. Maybe you'll be even writing and expressing self-help or healing and knowledge through even politics, releasing those stigmas that you have and old paradigm shifts, that patriarchal society, and opening your mind up to something, like I said, being more healing, loving, and nurturing, sensitive about other people's viewpoints and your own, and in that sense, you growing yourself, your soul. 10th house is your career, but it's the strength you have in the outer world. It's another angle chart, and that is the 10th house is Capricorn. So you're saying, where are you going to build your strengths in the outer world, in your career, how people see you, how you show yourself. And it's also about gaining a gentle control on the outcome of your life. You know, this is great stuff for people who are in their teens, 20s, and 30s to have this knowledge so that they can figure out what they want to do with their life based on what their heart tells them, not what their pocketbook says, their parents say. Gee, if people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s were raised that way, imagine how many of us would be doing something we truly love every day of our life and never feel like we worked. And it's not about the money. This is about doing what your heart desires and you love. And you're getting recognition for it. You're working through this and saying, I'm doing what I love, but people are seeing this, that you're opening your heart and sensitivity to doing what you want. You're loving and nurturing this thing that you're creating. 11th house is your hopes, wishes, and dreams, organizations and groups. It's very humanitarian, outer world. It could be you're looking really hard at, like, this is my life and these are the things that I want for myself and I'm going to get them. I'm going to work toward this, but I'm not going to look at it as in a way that I'm angry or jealous I don't have these things, looking in lack. It's looking in love with your hopes, wishes, and dreams, your desires, and saying, I'm going to concentrate on bringing all these things into my life with love, that I feel like I deserve these things. And they could be things that are very unusual and different. You know, not like everybody else has got that little pinpointed of what they want to do in their life, you're kind of like going to do something different. You know, maybe you'll make a living being a travel guide or a photographer, making something that you enjoy doing and selling them on Etsy. This is about that quirky eccentricity, but it comes in with our genius. So you're being open to allowing your genius to come through, that God energy that comes into your life. And you might even find yourself being more open to different groups of people that you weren't open to before, so that you can grow. Your 12th house, karma, endings, dissolution. It's really honing in. That's another one of the water signs and mystical houses. So this is a sign that you're really going to be working through sensitivity and releasing things that you were kidding yourself about in your life. Things that you kind of convinced yourself were okay, or even things that you convinced yourself were no good. This is when you're really taking the rose-colored glasses, that cliche, off, and instead of living in these delusionary thoughts, because this is very much that house, illusions, delusions, lies. It's about seeing with that clarity, and I like that because with 2020 we talked about the visual clarity, that acuity, to see things clearly now, and the things that you've been feeling before, or even ending the way that you were looking at other people. Maybe you looked at that as being the best thing, or yeah, that's right. Now you're open and saying, you know, that's really not what was best for me, for humanity, for my situation. I was kidding myself. I'm going to release that and let it go. That's that karma, ending it. You want to get off the wheel, that 12th house. You just want to stop already. So that would be your north node. That's where it's pulling you. With the south node, it is your karma. It's what you're going to bring from your immediate past life that's an ease of flow for you. And in Capricorn, it's the 10th house. It usually represents the father or whoever was that protective, strong energy. And it doesn't always have to be a man, and it doesn't always have to be a dad. Maybe your mother was the disciplinarian, your father was the softie. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, you were raised by a grandparent or, like I said, a cousin, a relative. It doesn't matter. Whoever it was that represented all that foundation, the solidity in your life, the strengths that they're pushing you toward in your life. So with Capricorn, it's about being responsible, reliable, resolute, very dedicated. At times, you know, they want their recognition, of course, and Capricornians work very hard. But when you look at that through the houses, you're saying, okay, so how am I going to work through all 12 of these houses with this Capricornian energy of responsibility, reliability, building a solid foundation, structure, form versus reform? When am I going to let go about those things? Like I said, old paradigms, the male patriarchal society. You know, we're boosting young women, feminines, into the power, right? The feminine is on the rise. Yes, that's wonderful. Empower young women, all women, in a healthy way, but let's not forget that divine feminine energy that we're embracing. We need to embrace the divine masculine energy as well, and that is part of it. You know, Capricorn is a feminine sign, and we want to look at the young men too. How many are raised by single moms in their lives, or single women? And they have sensitivity more toward the women. So in the next 30, 40 years, these men and the products of will be women. You're even seeing it now, young men are more about their mothers. You know, respectful, loving, because they were raised by a woman alone and saw her hardships and how she carried both the masculine, feminine energy. Let's not forget these young men. You know, suicide is on the rise, especially with young men. Let's embrace all and not just empower only the young women, which I'm grateful for, but let's not forget the young men and not push them aside. So we bring this equanimity. We take the responsibility to coalesce male, feminine, and build strengths and a solid foundation for both, okay? Now through the first house, you're looking more at yourself and saying, where are my strengths and what my foundation for who I am and how I'm gonna express myself fearlessly. And I'm gonna project that now and not hide that, but I'm doing it in a loving way, and I'm releasing anything from the past about the way I felt about how I looked and projected myself. In your second house, it's taking a stronger hold on your finances and relationships regarding love. Okay, money, your home, being more responsible and structuring. You know, maybe you're really gonna hit the books and start a budget and stick to it so that you can achieve the goals that you want to that new house or car, vacation home, whatever it is that you're working toward, and being very responsible about it. In your third house, you'll be more responsible about the way you're speaking, more honest and direct. Without being candy coating things, you'll be able to speak in an honest, direct way without being hurtful toward anyone. Like I said, recognizing the sensitivity there, but that you speak your truth in a positive way. The fourth house, there's that dichotomy, male, female, mother, father, fourth house, 10th house, right? So now in your fourth house, you're saying, I'm building solid foundations in my home, whatever that's going to be, whether I'm going to be a single parent, whether I'm not going to be a parent at all, I'm going to stay single my whole life, I'm going to be married, whatever it is that you want to root into your life, you are doing that with great conviction and building a solid foundation in whatever your home life represents to you. Fifth house, now again, we're talking about pleasure, fun, travel, how you're expressing yourself and sharing with the world, something that you're creating, all right, that you're having a good time with, and that you build strength in that. Sixth house is, you have that energy of saying, I'm going to be responsible for my body, taking care of myself and this earth, okay? The things that I do on a daily basis will have meaning, they will have structure. I'm going to build on something so that I'm not that hamster going around in the wheel, that every day is not boring and mundane. I have a productive life that's enjoyable. Okay, seventh house, again with your partners, okay? This is that polarity you want to work on. Me, him, me, her, me, them. See, the Cancer first house is you, me, I. Seventh house, Capricorn, we, us, partnering, partnerships. Even in your partnerships, you're looking to build something solid, something tangible, something you're recognized for, that you've learned through, you've worked through from your past. And now you're healing those. So you're having healthy, lasting relationships in whatever that is in your life. Like I said, relationship with self, I'm okay with being single. I'm going to get married, but I'm going to have a respectful, long-term relationship that's healthy with boundaries, respecting my partner and they're respecting me. So you draw the line in the sand where you have in all of your relationships structure, foundation that you live by, but again, expressing that polarity with Cancer, so that's sensitive and loving, no controlling one or the other. Eighth house, really getting things done down to brass tacks. You're really going to start to delve deep into your psyche and even your psychic abilities for a lot of people. You're going to look at this and say, I'm really going to go in and see what's triggering things in my life. Where are these patterns coming from? I need to release these things that I'm creating in my mind. I need to work through the energy in that magic, whether it's science, whether it's metaphysical, however way you do it. But this is going to be a transformation for you. So you start to take control of your abilities that you have. A lot of us don't tap into that. We don't recognize our intuitive nature. We don't recognize our abilities of our inner divination, whatever that is. It's tapping into it and really honing it and making it work for you, so that you can start to elevate yourself to the next level of manifestation of happiness, joy, bliss in your life. The ninth house, a lot of you maybe are going to be doing some writing and publication. Maybe that will work for you. Self-help, structure, writing about issues that are important out in the world on a broader scope, higher mind type of things. Even could expand on traveling out of your comfort zone. Like some of us might be going to Europe, some of us might be going to the Middle East, some of us are leaving Brooklyn. It just depends on where you live and what you're doing. It's going to be about expanding your mind and elevating yourself with other people, but being respected in that sense, and for your openness and your higher mind and education. The 10th house, there it is. That's that house that Capricorn rules. This is where it's taking the steps in your career and the strengths in your outer world. This is the recognition you're looking for. This is your public reception. This is the way you're accepted. Let's say if you have a YouTube channel or you start something with music, whatever it is, you're putting it out there and you're being seen and recognized as skilled. And people are looking toward what you have as something valuable to offer them. And this would be for your career really growing for you, and you have more strength and a solid foundation in your career. That's what you'll be working toward. The 11th house is really bringing into form your hopes, wishes, and dreams. Really working hard, getting brass tacks. I'm done with waiting for this. I know what I want, and I'm going to make this happen for me. I'm going to work hard at it, and I'm going to allow other people to help me. You know, maybe a lot of times you didn't let people help you. You wanted to take on the responsibility yourself. This is allowing other people, groups, organizations, friends, family, to help you to achieve your goals, or even come together as a tribe, a community. Like I said, it's like we need to get back to community. Women are raising children alone, or men are raising children alone. When we had that community, family, I grew up on a block in Astoria on 43rd Street. I had 6, 7 aunts and uncles on the same block next door, cousins everywhere. It was beautiful. What a time. I have my happiest memories. There was always someone there to help, to pitch in, to share. And that's what we need to get back to, a community, whatever that community is for you. Work on that. And your 12th house, this is really putting the pedal to the metal, Capricorn, in that 12th house. You're saying, I really need to end the old paradigms. I want to get rid of the way I was thinking and feeling before, the way I treated myself, allowed others to treat me, my job, my health, my schooling, my spending, my addictions. All of these things come up for review in the 12th house to release. And especially with Capricorn, they don't play. Capricornians are very serious, and sometimes the people say they're rigid or they're frigid or they're cold. They're not. They're just very dedicated to what they're working toward. They feel just like all of us, but they keep it in check, that grounded energy. I mean, look at the Capricorn is the goat climbing literally vertically up a mountain to lick the salt off this mountain. Do you ever see how do they get to the top of the mountain? Dedication. And they know they're going to get there. And they work diligently toward it. So with that 12th house, this is what we're all working toward. And I pray for all of us, we can work toward releasing all of the false pain and suffering, all of the real pain and suffering, all of the negativity, all of the things that don't serve our highest purpose on an individual level, in the way we communicate, we act, we behave, we welcome, we receive, whatever is going on in our life, and all of the energies represented by all the planets and all the houses, that finally we work through this and release it, so we don't have to wait, another 19, 20 years to repeat this in our lives. So this is happening November 6th, 7th, 2018 until May 5th, 2020. I hope this is helpful for you, and you can think about what house is this in, and what am I going to be working through? And remembering the intensity is ending with the Leo, Aquarian polarity. A lot of us have been feeling this shaking and waking. That's that Uranus energy, right? The universe shakes you to wake you. So in the final crunch time, the energy intensifies. What have you not released of trauma, pain, suffering in your past with calm? Very Aquarian South Node. Okay, and where have you not let yourself shine, love yourself, and be compassionate? Like I said, people are losing their jobs, so something better comes to them. Breaking up in relationship for someone better to come to them. Healing from relationships, healing from illnesses. This is release, 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 release. Letting it go with calm, okay? And letting your heart send to heal and be compassionate. So that's really happening more. And then we get into that Cancerian energy of the moon with our receptivity, our receptiveness, and reflecting on things in our lives. Tapping into the divine feminine energy and allowing a healing, a peaceful sensitivity to take over for us, and building on something long-term that way for us to carry on beyond even the 18 months. So I hope this helps you. If you have a question, we can open up a conversation to this. If anyone's open up to do a live stream and maybe discuss this, I would really love to hear from you. You can put it in the comments below, and we could set up a date and time and do a live stream, and we could discuss this openly. Well, thanks again, everybody. I appreciate you for watching and sharing and liking, and please subscribe. I really appreciate this. And as always, I wish you the best.